what's good? This is your girl, Anne the Bronze Goddess, and it's time for another strawberry letter. Let's go get them. And this one, as usual, is long, so I'm going to read a little bit of it, and then I'm going to have to summarize it. And so anyway, let's go get them. I am a 22-year-old newlywed. My husband and I knew each other for 7 years before getting married. He's a great man of God and is a wonderful husband and support system. He is a minister and keeps me on track in my faith daily, and I love him for that. Most of the early years of our relationship were through Skype because he lived in another country. We met online and soon couldn't get enough of each other, so we talked and Skyped on the phone just about every day. I strayed in the early years of our relationship with other young men because I wanted attention and affection in person, not just through the screen. I was ashamed of those relationships and kept them to myself for years before I felt convicted enough to tell him the whole truth and let him know exactly what had happened in those early years. It bothered him, but he forgave me and we moved past it. When I first went to college, we ended our relationship because I felt I was too young to be so committed to someone. So she went on to, I'm going to summarize it from right here because it's crazy long. She went on to, explore. She actually, fell in her faith. She started being promiscuous and things like that. Stopped going to church. She just kind of turned her back on God for a little bit. And that was gone. They would stop talking and stop being in communication with each other for 2 years. And then she finally found her way back to God. And in doing so, she finally found her way back to him. He started flying in to see her and trying to see her more often, even though he lived in another country. And so I'm like reading this whole long strawberry letter, like, what's the problem? She finally gets to the point where he asked her to marry him, but he was still in another country. She was still seeing a man while she was engaged to her husband and being intimate with that man occasionally while being engaged to her husband. She and her husband have now been married for 3 months, and the guilt of cheating on her husband while she was engaged to him is really weighing on her, and she wants to know, what should she do? Should she tell her husband? I know this one's deep. Should she tell her husband what she did? Or is it over because they're married now? All of that. So this one is heavy. The first thing that I'm going to suggest that you do is pray. God is the only one who could truly help you with this situation. I would definitely suggest that you pray. Pray long and pray hard about your situation. Now, the only thing that offers me any bit of consolation is the fact that you've been honest with your husband about this in the past and he's forgiven you. So I'm not sure that, this may be a deal breaker for him. You've been married for 3 months now and you guys live together now and you're together now. But I will say, and I'm going to be honest and blunt, I do feel for you because you sound very remorseful in your letter, but I still have to get you together. Why is it that you don't know how to function when you don't have a man around? You had a good man, and throughout the whole relationship with him, you have to have a fresh man around. Like, I don't understand what that's all about. That says more about you than it does about him. You have a problem with being alone for some reason. And not even like alone. Like, you have a relationship, but you need to have a constant communication with a man. It's almost like you don't feel whole and you don't feel complete unless you have the company of a man. And that says a lot about you. So I know you want to talk about your husband, and I'm going to get to that in just a minute. But right now I want to talk about you. What's going on here? I don't know why your value seems to be all wrapped up and entangled in the company of a man. And that really is a bad thing. And the reason why I say that is because if you go into this relationship expecting your husband of 3 months to make you whole, that's not fair to him. That's not fair to him. That's not fair to you to put that much pressure on someone to be the source of your happiness. I'm a happily married woman, been married to my husband now for 9 years, and I don't depend on him for my happiness. He contributes to my happiness, but I had to be happy and whole all by myself. He does not complete me. He compliments me. I mean, we're like peanut butter and jelly. Okay, like it's a good fit, but I still am whole by myself. And I feel like for some reason there's something going on with you. So I definitely suggest you pray for your marriage, pray for the union, the two of you together. But I'm also praying for you, and I suggest that you pray for yourself, that you will find that wholeness and completeness within yourself, that you don't have to be with someone for you to feel that. And I hope that you're not putting that kind of pressure on your husband. And he sounds like a sweetheart for, keep trying with you, and you gave him a break and you cheated on him in the past, and he sounds like he clearly loves you. You said he's an amazing, good man of God, a man that keeps you in your faith. But I honestly believe that the guilt of not telling the truth is going to eat you alive, especially when you say he's keeping you in your faith daily. And, he doesn't know that he's doing this, but his goody two-shoes-ness, okay, is going to weigh on you. And you're going to feel guilty for not telling him the truth. I think that you will break down and eventually tell him what you did. Now, what he's going to do with that information, I don't know. But I will say I feel like you have a pretty decent chance in him forgiving you because it was before the marriage. But then again, you were engaged to the man. And if that wasn't the beginning of you cutting off other men, then I'm not sure how he will feel about how serious you will take this marriage. And then I don't know how he would feel. And I'm being honest and blunt. I don't know how he would feel whenever he has to leave you. What if he decides he has to go home to his country for a few weeks? He'd be worried about you then. What if he decides that, he has to do some kind of trip or go somewhere without you? You are presenting yourself in such a needy way that it would be he almost feels like he cannot leave you. And that's not fair to your husband to feel that he got to be around you every second of every day to keep you from cheating or wanting to cheat. That's something that you have to pray on yourself about. And I really want you to get what I'm saying. That's why I'm taking so much time to focus on this. This is more about you than it is about him. You can pray and ask God to, show him how remorseful you are, to help convict his heart and show him that, you'll never do it again. You can pray to God for forgiveness, that God will forgive you and that he will forgive you. But I'm trying to keep you from letting this mistake happen again and again and again. And I'm trying to help you to build your trust up with your husband again, so that he wouldn't have to worry about you every time he closes the door and leaves you home, every time he flies out of town, every time he goes to work, every time he stops talking to you for a period of time. It's too much pressure to put on someone to be in charge of your happiness. And you need to realize that a man is not the end all be all to being happy. You can be alone and not be lonely. You for some reason, you can't differentiate between the two. You don't know how to be by yourself. And that's a problem. So I'm just trying to help you with that because I feel like you're 22 years old and you're married now. You've been married for 3 months. I pray that you take your relationship vows very seriously and that you pray about that God will give you eyes for only your husband. And that no man, whoever can, shows you some interest or, wants to call you, or that no other man can hold your attention like your own husband. That's what I pray for you. That the other men around, no matter how good they look, no matter how nice they are, no matter what, that no other man does for you or makes you feel the way that your own husband makes you feel. That's what I pray for you. That you don't have to be looking around. I just feel like you are one of these people who are always looking around. I'm not going to name the particular celebrities, but y'all can figure it out. There are a few celebrities who always have a fresh man. I mean, as soon as they break up with this one, less than a month later, here come another one. And you're like, where he come from? Like, that show was quick. I'm not going to mention the celebrities. There's a couple of female celebrities who every time they break up with a man, it don't even take but a month before some new man is there. And that's the love of their life. They break up a month later, new man, love of their life. And to me, it just really shows an insecurity that you need a man to validate you, that you don't feel like a true woman unless you have a man. That's not the case. So anyway, for this particular situation, like I said, I'm praying for you. I pray that you pray for yourself, for your self-esteem, for your self-worth, for your value, so that you will know that you don't need someone to complete you, compliment you, yes. But to complete you as if that you're not whole on your own, no. Only God can do that, to me. In my humble opinion, only God can complete me. I personally feel like I am not complete without God. I need him. I need him like I need air. But as far as a mate, they're to compliment me, to bring out the best in me. I bring out the best in them. They bring out the best in me. We're a good team. He's the yin to my yang. And that's what we do. We are a great partnership. At the core of the relationship, there's a good friendship, that type of thing. But to put that much pressure on a man for him to be the source of your happiness is unfair to him. I pray that your husband forgives you. I pray that you forgive yourself. And I pray that you realize your value and your worth outside of your husband or any other man for that matter. I love you guys. I pray that you leave a comment on the bottom. And please remember to thumbs up. Till next time. Later, divas. Deuces.